here we are in the
Manhattan
corner
Fallen on the box
of
to
7th Avenue
603.
and
Location going to be
22nd
West
Street
22nd Street at 7th Avenue.
in Chelsea.
They're putting a building
This
fire.
building's been pretty much
Manhattan Fallen on the box
abandoned,
to 603.
completely for
Location is West 22nd Street at 7th Avenue for a building fire. Units responding into box 603. Address now is 216 7th Avenue between West 22 and West 23 Street for a building fire. Repeating the 6 for box 603. The address is 216 7th Avenue. That's between West 22 and West 23. It's a multiple dwelling, 6 stories, 50 by 75, class 3. 8 apartments per interior code shaft in center line of the building. Door on the corner, on the one corner, gives access to the rear in
this
compacted
is a
rooms.
big fire.
We're going to in the ball in hand. Then hold on to the box. So 3, 1, 6, 7,
Look at that.
West 22, West 23 Street. Fire multiple floors of the commercial building. Division 1 in
Hurry
Manhattan.
up. Why didn't they go into another building too? So
Box 603. Exposure 3 is a 4-story non-fire. We have 2 lines stretched, 3 tower ladders in operation, 2 lines in operation. There's a line in exposure 3, and there's a line in exposure 4.
Division 110-4, time of that
They
report is
should've shut that
0636
building
hours. Notify the incident. Commander, the duration now is 28.
That is Division 1. To 1. We got a call from transit reporting smoke in its entirety, one line at West 23rd and 7th Avenue. Believed to be related to the third alarm. Division 1. Smoke in transit, the one line at 23rd and 7th Avenue. We believe it to be from the
7th
third
Avenue
alarm.
and 22nd.
Today's Sunday, April 12th, and just to let you know, at 6:08 this morning, fire department units were called to a scene of a fire in a vacant building. We had a vacant building involved in the fire on multiple floors. The response time, engine company, ladder companies were here within 3 minutes and 20 seconds. And this was a alert alarm fire, which brings about 192 firefighter personnel, EMS, fire operations, working in concert to put out the fire. No civilian injuries, two minor injuries to firefighters, but most of the investigation is still undetermined at this time.
We were told that potentially people may have been squatting in the building. Is there any indication that anyone had been living inside of this building?
So they were able to do a search from the ladders. Right now, the way the construction is after the fire, it's unsafe for us to do a full search. So from the windows, from the buckets of the tower ladders, we determined that this time nobody's in the building.
Any other questions?
Did you talk about the condition of the firefighters? You said there were 2 firefighters that were...
2 firefighters injured. It was setting up the hose lines, working in the buckets. So the building was odd that it had a lot of copper flashing. So the grunt work to be able to pull all of that off, expose the fire, and get it out. Minor injuries to these guys.
Was there anything that might have obstructed the operation? Anything to do with the building or conditions for the weather today?
No, it was Sunday morning traffic light. It's a corner building. So for us to set up tower ladders on both sides, it was kind of a smooth operation. Guys and girls worked very hard and did a nice job.
So about what's happening now, obviously still a massive scene and it's what we see here.
Yeah, so obviously we can't leave till everything's out. Like I said, this building had a lot of copper flashing. Once you pull the flashing off, it exposes the wood to the building. We knock it down with the tower ladders, and right now we're winding down operations. We'll leave presence on scene and make sure that nobody's in the building.
But more searching.
Searching will be continued.
And where did it start?
Unsure, but we had fire on the first floor and the 5th and 6th floors throughout every window when we built up.
How's the neighboring, this building that's connected to it and the levels of businesses downstairs? Any, obviously evacuation or damage to those?
Yeah, so in the adjoining on the right side, we call that exposure 4. It was a private dwelling, people living there. Searches were negative, just a lot of smoke. Nice brick wall, no fire extension, and kind of worked out for everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.